Any nigga that been to Georgia State Prison, done went through that process, done got out of jail and went back in that motherfucker, he's gay. Let me understand y'all why street niggas don't like gay men. They don't like gay men because they're fucking gay. They're trying to uphold an image. When I walked in that prison and they made me strip butt naked in front of all them people out there, it fucking hurt. It hurt to a fucking degree that it's like, damn, this is not right for motherfuckers to do you like this. Then I see niggas go back to prison 4, 5 different motherfucking times. Bitch, all it took for me to see it was one time. The fuck you going back to prison for, nigga? I give a fuck how broke you is. Nigga, prison so hell, nigga. If I gotta go back, nigga, kill me, nigga. I'd rather see my ops get that victory than motherfucker put me back in there where they gonna strip me of my manhood. Strip me butt ass nigga. Y'all laugh, y'all don't understand what I mean. What I mean is, to enter the prison, you gotta take everything off that you wouldn't birth with. Y'all laughing. Man, y'all laugh, these niggas gay. That's why I tell niggas all the time, I don't care about you being gay. Don't violate me, nigga. I'ma demonstrate. And that's just the God untruth. My bad.
All right, before we get into the topic, that was basically Lil Woody, former member of YSL, with the rapper Young Thug and they crew. They based out Cleveland Al on the southwest side of Houston. Actually, one of my main barbers cut over there. So I've been active in that community for a minute. With that being said, he basically made a video about what he thinks of men that keep going back and forth to prison and jail. I'm a leave it to as far as being suspect. But that by no means, if y'all agree with him to that point of gay, then I have no problem with that. So just for me, I would say they definitely suspect. And then sometimes probably just gay. But that's very interesting take. So I wanted to have a conversation about it. It's okay to include some hypotheticals in this too, because it doesn't necessarily mean it, but hey, regardless, what's y'all thoughts? I want Quality to go first on this one.
All right. So what he said, I mean, y'all know me, man. When I hear stuff, I can take anything that's told to me, and I'm gonna put it in my little memory bank or my little whatever we do up in here, and I'm just gonna dissect what was said to me. Mm-hmm. What he said, and the interesting factor to it, to me, that he was basically giving you a warning that you should never want to go back to prison. That's not the angle. So if that's a fear tactic that he uses, then kudos to him for telling them not to go. If it's a factual thing that he's saying, then that's unfortunate, because just because you go to prison doesn't mean that you should be violated within, the rights of you being a man. I ain't gonna lie, for me, I've been to jail before, and the bend down and spread yourself, that was done to me, and I'm not gonna lie, that was, he ain't lying. That's one of the most like demeaning things that could ever happened to me, and because of that, I'm with him. I never went back. I'm not going back. And that was what I was in there for, was probably over some traffic. I mean, I ain't did nothing no terribly wrong, so it was probably some traffic tickets, but I had to go in there and deal with that. Never did the traffic ticket thing again. You give me a ticket, I'm paying that hoe. Well, how much I owe you? All right, it's on its way. It's on its way, because I'm not playing that game. We're not going to do that to me ever in life again. So that was my thought, and that's the main reason why I didn't go back. Now, for him to actually be in prison and actually, going through the real cycle of it, I would probably spend maybe a week or so. This man probably spent some time in there. So yeah, I can only imagine what that world is like in there, and I wouldn't want to do that. So that's just me. I wouldn't want to do it, and that ain't my style. And I applaud the message, because hopefully that's enough to keep him out of there. So yeah,
Gotcha.
that's my plan, man.
All right, gotcha. Oh, Ben, I'm gonna get to you, but I don't know if you saw the video. Basically, it was our former YSL member with Young Thug Click, Lil Woody. He basically did a video saying that he thinks that men that consistently go back and forth to jail or prison is gay, and so we basically just opening up the floor to expound on it and what's our thoughts on men that consistently go back and forth to jail. So with that being said, we're gonna go to Rich. What's your thoughts on it? You got
Unmute me. Unmute it. Unmute it, Rich.
Well, yeah, it's nothing in there but men. So if you go there and you keep going, I do like something. And he's not lying to you about the breaking you up. You know, I hate to say I had that experience at a young age, man. Like 18, 19, to go there and not no county. I'm talking prison. So you go in a room, they get you off a bus, man, and you have to get butt naked, and it's about 180 dudes in here. We all butt naked, and they give you a square piece of soap this big and say go shower. And when I say it's 6 people on one shower head, and it ain't no plexing, you got to do this. Ain't no I'm gonna get around this. I'm gonna buck the system because nobody bigger than the program. Everybody got to go through this. Man, after doing that or going through that situation, I was like, how the hell somebody want to come back here? So at that point, I knew I wasn't doing nothing to go back through that. Circumstances was different, but I mean, yeah, I don't see nobody that want to do that, man. Because I learned my people suffered more than me when I was in there. Because I made them come to prison. They had to get searched and they had to go through this to come see me. So I hate to put my people in jail to come see me, and they ain't did nothing. So I don't know, man. If you got some dudes that do like jail, man. They just like it. There's nothing to them, and maybe they do have a boyfriend now. That's just an old cliche that they say. But as far as me, man, nah, that jail shit is for the birds, man. If you didn't have to go or never been, salute. I'm glad you didn't. It don't make you no bigger man, no tougher man, no better man. That shit just make you either you dumb or you smart. And that's what a lot of dumb people in that motherfucker. Trust and believe. And some
Gotcha.
smart ones. But
Got
yeah.
it. All right, so we're gonna go to Ben. And Ben, what's your thoughts on it? I'm sure he was being. I don't think he was being literal, as everybody else is agreeing with and or insinuating too. But it can be literal to in some cases. But whatever the case, it definitely provided a good topic of conversation because there are some of us, you know what I'm saying, and we're talking about men in general, that they just always back and forth to prison. And I want to add by saying some of these guys, I know a lot of guys, I know of a lot of guys that go back for the prison and they ain't drug addicts and nothing like that. So it ain't the drugs for some of them. But anyway, expound on it. What's your thoughts, sir?
Um, I didn't hear all the clip, but based on what y'all saying, I'm sure some that are going back to somebody, and others, you know, don't know how to function here in the free world, and they just got a criminal mind. I went to I've never had to. I've never been to prison. You know, it's never been on my mind to put myself in a position to even go to prison. Mostly due to my my biological father being in and out of prison my whole life. Um, involve myself in the streets. But I remember I went to visit him in California, in a California prison. I didn't have to be subjected to any type of demoralizing checks, So I've never experienced that. But hey, man, I'm sure some that do want to go back and go back to somebody. I don't think that's all of them, but I don't know what that world is like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not curious to find out. I don't see no I don't see what nothing in my life that would are we really risking going to prison? Never been a thought for me. So I just don't really understand the mentality to risk going to prison, you know. But yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, so let me ask you this, Ben. Let's I want you to attack it from a psychological level, right? So, because I know you have, experience in it and educated in some form of psychology, right? And as you know, YouTube viewers, psychology is basically the study of the human mind, our interactions, and how we act and react to things, right? So, if you can explain your thoughts on it from a psychological standpoint.
But as far as like going
Just
to prison,
Yeah, just men in general that seems to just go back and forth to prison.
yeah, I don't, I don't think that I don't necessarily think that it's always a case of homosexuality involved. I don't think that's always the case. But I can see people using that as a reason, like, hey, if you go on this, like I said, I've never been, so I can't sit here and just give you firsthand experience. But from the mentality perspective, man, like
Yeah,
just
that's what
knowing
I'm
people,
asking. I know you experience. I know you got. You understand psychology, so I know you could answer it. That's why I'm asking you to answer it from
Yeah.
that perspective, like just knowing what you know of the mind and how the mind works from your knowledge and years of studying in school.
Can I give a plea in there? Because I've been to prison, Ben. I know you have. Let me say this. I have a homeboy, I'm gonna say, because psychological. This dude cannot function in the free world for shit. I mean, my ace boom coon, you hear me? He will get out here and he's gonna tear up everything around him. He is not made for society. But when he go to prison, he the smartest, the sharpest. He run everything. He the best version of him in prison. So that's why he said, man, I can't stay out here. I gotta go back. I ain't saying he homosexual because I don't know that much about, but I just know when he go to prison, his head, I mean, how he write, how he think, how he move, you like, man, I know you had, but if he come out here, he can't do it. But I'm just saying he feel he need prison. I mean, if he in the free world too long without going back to jail, he gonna do something to go back to jail. Real talk. And I was like, are you crazy? But in his world, that makes sense. He's somebody in there. I hear he nobody. He don't work, he don't do that. But in there, you know what I'm saying? He can do the most push-ups, he can play chess, he can play dominoes, shoot basketball, lift weights. He the man. But I didn't understand how he cannot function out here in society. He don't know how to do that.
Gotcha.
I was
it's,
like,
it's
damn.
I think it's partly due to him not being able to function without forced structure. Like he needs to be able to force to have structure. In the free
I was
world,
just
you
about
do
to
what
say
you
that.
pretty much what you want to do out here is you make your own decisions. You don't want got to get up in the morning. You don't want got to make those choices and get out of bed. To be honest with you, getting out of bed is probably the hardest part of the day. Like on your own, being able to just get up out the bed and do what you got to do. And man, it's people I work with, and it's you make the choice to and they make pretty good money, but getting out the bed, not being on time, that's a personal decision you got to make. And in prison, they let you know when to get up. I mean, I know how things go to an extent, but it's like, hey, time to get up. It's time to eat now. You can go play. You can't go play. You got to go. You got to do that. So it's like it's almost like having that parent that they perhaps didn't have out in the free world that gave structure. I grew up with structure in the home, so it's kind of embedded in me on how I kind of function. But I think outside of just labeling somebody, as that homosexual, whatever, I think it's a structure. It was somebody. Who was it? He made a statement, and it echoed with me, man. What's the brother name? He made music out of Dallas. I can't think of his name, man. But he was like, I can't tell you nothing about prison, but I say about this free world. He was like, I've been out here doing it,
Yeah.
and I respect this point because, like I said, I don't know what it's like in there, but out here in the free world, it ain't easy. you got criminals in the free world too. You got to navigate away from. You know what I'm saying? And people wouldn't be committing as many crimes if they didn't think they couldn't get away with it. So people get away with crimes in the free world. You know, you could be a victim of a circumstance, and you still got to navigate and figure things out on your own. That ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy to do that when you got freedom. Freedom is a tough thing to have. You got to know how to control it. And so I think, you know what I'm saying, it's that structure that he has to say, hey, this is when you move. So it's like, I got an environment that's forcing me to be focused. In the free world, you ain't really got no environment forcing you to be focused like that.
Got
And
it.
then and then like would you like say this too? This could be a part of it because like when you get locked up in the penitentiary, and it depends on what you get charged with, right? Whenever you do your time and you get out, it's hard to get a job and get on the right path because you got that smut up on your name. You know what I'm saying? So that could be another reason why people go back because shit, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta survive in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes them decisions put you right back in where you don't want to be. But you know,
That makes me wonder because, and look, I hear that point and I get it. I'm just like like I always say, man, it's like you gotta figure it out. As even just as we men, excuse me, Coach Pink, but
hey,
just
I
generally
get it.
Oh no, you
speaking,
good.
as men, we got to figure it out. And because there are so many places that hire you that when you have a felony, it's not
Mm-hmm.
like
I agree, bro.
it's not like nobody hires people with felonies no more. I mean, that's to me, that's an odd excuse that I hear people use when I know so many people that in dear time they got felonies. That's all. Even if they got a job, and they can't hold it down. They get another one. It's like they get another one. They find all these multiple opportunities to work. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot may use that as an excuse. Man, I can't get no jobs. I
It
got a felony.
is.
It's like you ain't. how- It's too many people that I know
Okay.
with felonies that work.
From personal experience, I had a road to travel. You know what I'm saying? But it took me one time to get in some shit, and I ain't been back, and I ain't had to do shit to go back neither. I found my way.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when motherfuckers say that, and then that's like an excuse. Now, yeah, like an asshole, man. Everybody got excuses. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You just find a way. You to me, that's some hopeless talk shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I can't, man. Ain't no such thing as can't, man. Rock say don't put try and can't in your vocabulary. That's two of the words. And he right, because when you sit up there and you talk that shit, you beating yourself down. The world ain't beating you down. You already taking yourself out of the fucking game before you even try to get in it, bitch. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Quit crying, nigga.
Straight
Well, I
up.
have
I
to
figure
I
it
have
out.
to say
Okay, so
this,
Coach Pink, hold
gentlemen.
on. Before you
Okay.
go, I just want to read it. Okay, so the drunk white man's Webster's definition of institutionalized. Yeah, I was being petty, Eddie. Establishing a practice or custom. 2, established as a part of an official organization. 3, apathetic and dependent after a long period in an institution. Institutionalized also means establish something, typically a practice or activity, as a convention or a norm in organization or culture. And 2, place or keep someone in a residential institution. So with that being said, Coach Pink, what's your thoughts on this topic?
Okay. My thoughts are that I don't believe that going back to jail means that you are gay, bisexual, or curious. I also don't believe that it's necessarily Ben, you had made a comment, I'm not sure exactly verbatim what you said, but you had said regard that the way you were your upbringing, why you didn't go to jail because of you didn't have to deal with it because of your upbringing. Is that correct? What you said, Ben?
It's part of it, but also I didn't want to end up like my biological father. I didn't want to walk in their footsteps.
Okay. Um, I've known people who had both mom and dad good upbringing and still went to jail. And I say that because for some people, going to jail is an escape from living in the world that we do live in. Because, as you were saying, it is structure. You being out here for some people, they are not guaranteed a meal every day. When you're in jail, you get a meal. You get breakfast, you get lunch, you get dinner, you get a shower. You get rec time. You get that hour to work out. You even get to get a GED. You get trade. When you're out here, you're not able to get all that. And truth, yes, for some, it is easier to get a job even if you have strikes on your name. But for others, it's not always easy. Some are undocumented and got to be under the radar. And some people do things not necessarily, because I do believe we all have choices, and each choice we make determines the outcome of our life. But when you are given nothing, then what are you supposed to do with that? So I don't necessarily, but I would not agree that going back and forth to jail is because you're gay, bisexual, or curious. And no, I have not been to jail, but I know a lot of men and women who have been to jail, and the choices they've made, yes, have been the cause of it, and some have not gone back, and some have gone back because it was safer environment for them going back.
You know what? And you bring up a good point. um, it's I want to add on to that, and also what you see is a lot of people glorify prison. Um, in a sense, it's almost like a rites of passage to manhood. You'll hear a lot of people that's been to prison. I see it. It's like, well, they would make it on the yard, and I'm like, why is that a measure? To want to have to make it on the yard per se, to say like that, you ain't tough or you can't handle something because you wouldn't make it on the yard, as if that's something somebody needs to experience. I always thought that was a weird thing to say because you stripped of your freedom, you stripped of what you get to do, how you get to move. It's different rules. You know what I'm saying? And so it's almost, and then you see like now, man, you see people that's getting on social media, being in prison. It's like it's almost like what's the difference now for some people? Like, man, I can go to prison, I still can hop on social media, and I still can, So I'm hearing about they getting down with the guards, or the only difference is that you can't hop up and go to a restaurant, but it's almost like this is where you need to come to get your stripes as a man, because out in the real world, what I'm saying, in the free world, I should say, they didn't have that structure. So it's like we'll get it here amongst ourselves, and it's gladiator school, and so I think it's the way that it's perceived. And by no means am I saying that it needs to be the most harsh, worst conditions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it needs to be inhumane, but it also should be glorified. Like, you need this right here to get your stripes as a man. You know what I'm saying? Or you could make it here, against a tough man. That's weird to me.
Yeah, man.
So can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask a question. So, like, I've been hearing like a few other soliloquies stating that, basically, uh, the world is too motherfuckers not headstrong enough to handle the world, so they feel just getting locked up to where it becomes like a, would you say, like a survival tactic, right? To get locked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But would that speak to the like the mind of these particular people? Because first off, everybody got to survive in this world. Some way, form, or another, everybody finds that way to survive out here without having to go behind the cage and being caged up like an animal. You know what I'm saying? So would that play into the mind strength of that individual person? Like, damn, nigga, your mind not weak enough to handle what the world. You sitting up here saying you can go do this, that, and the third in jail, but you can do the same thing, but because it's so much different shit for you to be involved in that you can't concentrate on doing what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff to think about when it comes to it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, honestly, bro, I just look at a lot of that shit. Whoever and they do what they do what you do. But I just look at that kind of shit as excuses. Because we all live in the same world and we survive just fine.
Yeah, man. I totally agree, man. All y'all had some good points. I know. I guess I'll drop my thoughts on it. I had did 10 months on an indictment. I didn't even know when I was coming out, and the shit I experienced was definitely Earth's equivalent of hell. If hell was real, I was definitely close to living in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I had a nigga try to talk me on my joints. Grown ass nigga. I'm thinking he cool. We conversating. He's like, man, them some clean ass Jordans, kinfolk. What size them is? I tell him my size. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, man. He said, man, I can tell you probably gonna get out soon, whatever, man. He like, man, shit, I sure need a pair. I'm so green to jail life, to prison life. Like I don't even get what he trying to get at. And then once I pick up on it, and then I'm kind of seeing other dudes like they know. And it was sad because I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, these niggas I already know how this shit go. My dumb ass green than a motherfucker. I'm just a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I was just a thug who was trying to sell drugs and this and that or whatever. But then I have to, and then once I really seen it, then that's when, then my G had to, come in because you could be green but still be about that shit. So I had tighten up my joints and then say, yeah, nigga, you're gonna have to take these motherfuckers. He started laughing and was like, nah, you good, kinfolk. And I was saying to myself, so the nigga was literally just testing me. And so when I hear Woody say what he's saying, I get what he's saying. I know he don't mean literally, right? But psychologically, there's a lot of gay shit going on in jail. It's a lot of gay type shit going on in jail, kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? It really do, bro. And so just experiencing that, man, bro, and then I already had that black man mindset, grandfather, 2-time war veteran, associated with the black man. I already had black knowledge in me, so, and I understood, Jim Crow and all that. So then we come from work, because I was considered safe enough to work outside. So I would be one of them dudes you could pass by in the car. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing shit in the free world, but you know what I'm saying? I was considered the safe slave. Which was insulting myself, because I was considered, that nigga's a good nigga. He ain't gonna run. So the psychological effect of knowing this, it did so much mental damage to me. Or I ain't gonna say damage, it was so mentally punishing to me. It was nothing short of hell, right? And then I remember I watched the guy, he tried to sneak some herbs in, cayenne pepper and seasoned salt. Man, I watched these guards damn near beat this man to death. And the first thing I said to my mom when I see that, and then they said, turn the fuck around. And I'm like, and I almost shed a tear, but I can't. I'm in jail because I'm like, am I in 1812? I'm literally watching a man get beat half to death for one season on his fucking food. And man, my man, I'm like, these niggas keep coming back to this shit. You fucking crazy.
Like they love it. Like they love it.
Yeah, Rock, they are crazy. No, Rock, they are.
And look, Dick Ben, I was finna get to that. Now you said it, let me allude to my point. Some of them motherfuckers supposed to be there.
I say this much, Rock. When I'm saying they mind ain't right. Not even if they like got the intent to really harm people. I mean, when you say are they crazy, I mean like, yeah. I know we don't want to use that word, but yeah, they mind ain't right. Your mind can't be right to want to go back there. Your mind just can't be right.
Exactly. And that's
it's a mental illness is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But whatever it is, man, it's all I know is two things I learned being there. Oh, and then I got beat by the cops. Sued and won. Y'all can Google it. I got beat. Three of the cops got fired. Yes. It was on the news and everything. But whatever the case is, there's two things that I learned from being in jail. One, everybody in jail is innocent. Man, I swear to listen, bro. I ain't never seen no shit like this. I'm around niggas who murdered motherfuckers, killed their gal, shot niggas, this and that, da. Everybody innocent. Oh man, the fuck ain't nobody in this bitch guilty, nigga. And two, I know this hard to say. And again, this is not a color, because when you go to jail, it's the multiple colors in there. But I see Asians in jail. Everybody do wrong. bro, some of them niggas need to be there. Hey, bro, some of these niggas you do not want to be your neighbor, sir. You don't want them to be your neighbor, dog.
Hey, let me ask you this, Rob, because this is a question that we talked about. Not maybe, not, I don't think me and you personally, but just a community conversation, right? About
Yeah,
us wanting to patrol our own communities, um, and also we talk about prison reform, we talk
yeah,
about nation building, about having our own communities and all this, and of course, we have this long standing no snitching law, or just in general. In other words, don't hand nobody off to the white man, right? Or put him in prison. My question, and I hope that we don't go too far off into a different topic from what you have on the panel. But how do you think rehabilitation should look for criminals in our community? What should be treatment? How should it be inside of when somebody commits crime in their own community and victimizes people? How should they be dealt with?
I'm gonna say this. Jay Prince said something a lot that I love, and it's a real no excuse type of statement. He says two things that he learned that everybody get when they wake up. He said a chance and a choice. He say everybody that wake up in this country, they get a chance and a choice. He said, and it's our responsibility to choose how we take advantage of that if we do. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about what the question you asked, you know, not everybody's mentally ill, not everybody's legally insane, not everybody's damaged to the point to where they need some type of medical aid as far as a mental disability. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I know plenty of able-bodied, sound-minded ass niggas that just keep going to jail. I mean, some of these niggas smarter than me. Man, some of these niggas smarter than me, man.
They
But
know shit.
yeah, man, some of these niggas smarter than me, bro.
They know shit, fam. Some
Man,
of them
smarter
great
than me.
business minds. Great business minds. They just
Ooh,
chose the
Jesus.
wrong lane to display it.
Yep. And they just refuse. They just have to go against the grain, man. You know what I'm saying?
But Rock, you crawled before you walked in your life. Like you wasn't always the man that you are right now. You
Yeah.
had to go through some shit to get to the point where you at right now. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I mean, especially when you talking about the YNs, man, we can't condone that dumb shit, but at the same time, we can give you some grace. But that's only if that grace is needed in that certain situation, because there's levels to this shit, man. I don't know about y'all listening to Meek Mill. I don't give a damn. I jam Meek before. Anyway, he had this song called Levels, right? And that song, when I heard it, that song low key became the anthem of my life, man. Because you got to understand there's levels to every fucking thing you do. You're not going to start off at the top of the fucking hill. You're going to have to start at the bottom and crawl up it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And then I want to add this
So
too,
so
right? I want to add this too, right? Let me give you a story about Stephen Jobs, one of the founders of Apple. Stephen Jobs became addicted to heroin, and he was homeless in college. I don't even have to add nothing else to it. This man overcame a heroin addiction and homelessness and became one of the most vibrant human beings on the planet. And it goes back to what Jay Prince say, a choice and a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody not gonna make it. And I've grown to accept that. Like I say, my child mother's mother, man, she said one time I had 10 kids. She said now some of them successful and doing damn good, and some of them ain't by shit. It's kind of the nature of life, ain't it?
Yeah. That's
Some
exactly what it is.
yeah.
hey, but I wanna. So this is to anybody, if you want to chime in, because I honestly haven't really received. I mean, I have my answer, but when I bring the question up, it's not a lot of responses, not just here, just in general.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering, what do consequences look like how we think it should be? Is it okay to put somebody in a in other words, is it okay to put somebody in a cell for 23 hours a day? Is it okay to subject somebody to less than, you know, edible food, I guess? Is how should the consequences and environment look for people that commit crimes?
I
When we
don't
talk
think
about
it's.
prison reform, how should it, in what way should it be reformed? How do you rehabilitate somebody?
I don't
Well, I'm gonna
think. I
say
don't think.
this.
I don't
Oh,
think the jail. I don't think the jail route is it. Like
Okay,
people that get in trouble. Like I say, put their ass in the boot camp. That can give you some structure too. If they gonna
okay,
have your ass waking up, going to bed, eating at certain time shower, it's gonna be the same thing. Just you're gonna be in a military like style setting. You know what I'm saying? But that's also strengthening your mind. You know what I'm saying? To where you are able to get in the free. You know what I'm saying? You won't have that same, oh man, I can't do shit mind state. I think that like ROTC in school, I seen a bunch of people that take that. I seen a bunch of people that take ROTC wind up going to the military because they became a part of life. I think you should do that for criminals too,
yeah.
because I
Let me,
think I think that'll help them out, man. As far
yeah,
as when they get out and not going back, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Let me
I may
add
be
to
wrong, though. That's my opinion.
yeah, no, no, that's real. That's real. I mean, it makes sense. But let me add to this, right? Because I know for me, with topics like these, um, I like to be careful sometimes because I think with my wording, because with conversations like these or topics like these, when we talk about prison reform, first of all, not everybody that commits certain crimes qualify for prison reform. Some of you motherfuckers ain't trying to reform. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You kill a child, rape a child. I really don't. There's nothing for me. I'm just saying, and thank God everybody's not like me, right? But especially repeated offenders. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think I agree to giving levels to the punishment, even someone that did a heinous crime like that. But when you really think about it, you got people who do 25 or 20 years for killing somebody and come home. So for me, I think it's important to make better choices or decisions on who qualify for prison to be reformed. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start letting, like it's a guy who just killed somebody and he had went to jail 18 times and I already had 2 murder cases as well on bond. Like, what the fuck was the you would think he was white, he got away with all that shit, but he was nigga.
Hmm.
And he was out on bond for 2 bodies, 18 arrests. And then what he do when he was out? Kill somebody else. So we got 3 bodies on him, 2 bonds he wanted, and been arrested and been to jail all his life. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely want to be careful with who we choose to reform. Because like I say, I'm not a bad person. I was there. And I was in jail with some people who with some brothers who really, and again, finna go back to quality. I was in jail with people who were still committing crimes. That's how you got there, nigga. What the fuck? But I was also in jail with brothers who we had reading sessions. You know what I'm saying? We used to have go to the library, you know what I'm saying? We passed books to each other so we wouldn't have to all buy the same book. We save money. One book feeds everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hey, fam, you order this book, I order that book. And when you get through reading, we switch it around.
We
We was
switch them
getting that
around.
night. We was getting that night. We was feeding ourselves. We was taking advantage of the time that we was in there to better ourselves and empower ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We had a Muslim brother in there. You know what I'm saying? We used to do push-ups and stuff together. We were staying active. And meanwhile, but you had them other niggas that want to play dominoes all day, cards, gamble, make hooch, watch TV. They would the jail, the walls didn't even change in kinfolk.
and see, so that's the interesting part because so the overall arching theme, right, is when you violate laws, when you victimize people, you are supposed to be taken away. Your privilege is supposed to be stripped away from you, right? So, I mean, that's what the whole premise of the punishment is like. You have your privileges taken away from you, and that should, in a sense, be punishment, right? But while you're serving your punishment,
You get them luxuries.
there you what luxury should be awarded to you. Of course, you have to, you should be eating. Of course, you should, what does recreation look like if you're taken out of society? Because, and I think the question, because I'm thinking around the world, every country has, some form of prison.
Sure do.
Um, but then when you talk about certain tribes, I'm speaking about Africa in particular. There are certain ways they handle people that commit certain crimes against the community, and in most cases, it's not something is extreme as a murder or RAPE, or any type, mess with children. It could be stealing something from somebody, or it could be adultery. It could be something like that, to where there's a system of shaming, involved, where it's I'm just wondering, maybe we're too far gone in the way that we live our lives to just, shaming is enough for somebody to change their behavior. I'm just curious, man, because I think we don't talk about it enough. We talk about one in our own communities, but what does punishment look like? You know what I'm saying? What does it look like when somebody commits a crime? Do we build our own prison? Do we even build a prison? Do we put them through some kind of therapy? You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of different thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I'm just wondering, what does that look like?
Well, I can say from working with the justice system, because I've worked with officers. I used to work close hands with PAL, which is the Police Athletic League. And then again, like I say, I have over a dozen law enforcement in my family, and so they've helped me out a lot, tremendously, as far as with anything that I had going. They used to donate to the gym, and stuff like that. I actually had a probation officer. She used to send me kids that she thought qualified, to be able, that she thought would make sense for them to get their community service hours by putting them in the boxing gym and stuff like that. Because with the boxing gym or services like that, even some sports league, we can actually we qualify it qualifies people on probation to be able to do that community service there. You know what I mean? Even if it's not actually indulging in the sport or whatever, it's maybe say working around the gym, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So um you know when I compare it to some of the other countries and stuff, I think sometimes our rehabilitation system gets overlooked by the harsh punishment. You know what I'm saying? Because we hang people, electrocute people. Well, not hang people no more, but we electrocute people and stuff like that. I think it gets overlooked, right? Because, like, for example, in Africa, one thing that I noticed in Nigeria, because I've searched all their laws and stuff. I'm one person, I do research when I go to countries. I do not like traveling. If I go to another state, I need to know their laws. I'm sorry, I ain't going to jail. I'm like Yogi say, I ain't going to jail no more. So I learn all their laws, gun laws, or whatever. Did you know that in Nigeria, if you get caught selling drugs, now watch this, you automatically, first offense, you get 14 years in prison.
Bruh, you know what, Ross? Funny you say that. Me and my wife was talking about this the other day. We talk about this often, about places we want to go and things like that. She's been in Dubai. I
Yeah.
told her, I said, look, I say I'm not. I said I see what happens to people in a spot like Dubai. I don't want to go to Dubai.
Mhm.
Um, this is a true story. This was a guy that's from Vegas. I want to say some
Yeah.
white dude. This dude from white dude from Vegas. He goes over to Dubai, and he I think he passed out or he got sick. Something happened to him, and they needed to run a blood test, something like that. He had THC in his system based off having that from in Las Vegas, where it's legal. Put that man in prison for that. For that, he didn't have it over there in Dubai, but he was in the system while he was in Dubai. Put him in prison.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say this, Rob. I don't know if you, and this is to everybody. When you get opportunity, Look at the prison. It's probably the worst prison on the planet. The prison in Madagascar is terrible.
Rush. Oh, in Madagascar. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's terrible, man. It's hard to watch the conditions that they got to deal with. Even pregnant women in
You
prison.
ought to
It's
see the one in Brazil.
terrible,
You heard about the
huh?
one in Brazil?
I think I have,
Yeah,
bro.
they
When
out
you
of
get
there
a
in Brazil.
when you get it, hey man, I'm telling
Hey,
you right now. I
yeah,
don't think it's one. I don't think it's one of the planet worse than Madagascar. It's
yeah,
it's it's crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. But and that's we talk about prison over here, and it's bad. But man, to
Yeah.
put things in perspective,
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Dude, you catch a dope case here, you can get out on a personal reconnaissance bond. A PR.
and then you gotta wait in your court date.
Yeah, you can go back home. In Nigeria, if you get caught selling drugs, listen to me, y'all. I go there all the time. My wife is from there. I have a crib out there. You get 14 years. Blanket. Boom.
Crazy.
Done. Get out of here. So what I notice is that anytime you commit crimes, this is the crimes that they're the stiffest on, being crimes that can poison their community.
Mm, mm,
They don't want no crackheads running around this motherfucker.
mm.
They don't want that shit. They nipping that shit in the bud, bro. They take that shit so serious. Telling my wife that I interact with her people, I talk to her brother all the time, and so I would learn. We gauge. I chill with them. They be like, "Oh no, none of that." And guess what? I bullshit you not. Do you know that almost 97% of Nigerians are sober, don't drink or smoke?
Yeah, I believe it.
Unbelievable. We go out there.
Well, hey, it's believable you get 14 years. They better not.
Hey, I wanted to take a shot at Ben's
Yeah.
question though.
Okay.
About before we go to the next segment, because I know we probably kind of overdue on this one.
Yeah.
But Ben, I wanted to take a shot at your question there, man. When you said how do we punish or something similar to
Yeah,
that, probably not
yeah.
worded the correct way. But I'm gonna tell you, for me, I've been thinking about that since you just said it. And for whatever reason, I can't do it. I couldn't be the person that tries to punish people because I don't feel I have this part of me that thinks that everybody has a good in them, no matter who it
Mm,
is, no matter what it is. And the interesting factor is when I think of that question, I think of the person. Let's say, for instance, we'll use me, and I'll say one of my loved ones was killed by this particular person. Well, at that point, psychologically, I want him punished harder because that was my loved one. But what if that was your loved one? Why wouldn't I want the same punishment for what he did to your loved one? So, in my opinion, that completely makes me what's the word? I'm not
willing.
qualified. I'm not qualified to
Okay.
make that type of decision because I wouldn't
Hmm.
handle it right if it were
You will
someone that was close to me.
you
Yeah,
will
I
understand.
would show favoritism towards someone close to me.
Yeah, you'll show your bias in the situation.
Right. So I don't think there's no one that's really qualified to actually make that decision. To me, I'm always, higher power for sake of rock, but for me, God, it's a decision that God makes. And sometimes when people are being punished, and I know Rock, I swear to God, this is about it right here. When people are being punished, you don't have to see what happened to them for you to get justification for their punishment. So what I mean is, if someone does something to me, just because I don't see what happened to them, like I can't, he lost his life or he lost his leg because he did. No, I don't need to see that. That's not my place. His punishment gonna come to him, and it's gonna be here. He got to deal with those demons and everything that he going through in his life. So it's not fit for me to try to justify what should happen to him through what he has done. My only thing that I can do is forgive and let God take care of it. That's my thoughts, on that particular thing that you had said.
No problem. All right, good
Well
shit.
said,
Good shit.
quality.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we're
shut
gonna
the hell
go
up.
to the next subject.
Not you, Miss Coach Pink.
Y'all so silly. All right, mute your mics.